this is what we got going on right now. It's unfortunate, but if we can't get those roots out or we can't salvage that lateral, then that'll be a quick, bare minimum 10K clean off bottom line. Like I said, prime example of unforeseen conditions. Welcome back to the Site One series. My name is Corey Fields Jr. I'm a builder, investor, and developer, and I'm bringing you guys along with me as I take this deal from acquisition to close. So in the last video, we covered which plan I picked, as well as what the survey and site plan entailed. So now, here we are. We finally got everything approved. That way we can actually start construction and getting that site ready to go and begin. Now I want to talk about this permitting process a little bit. So we submitted everything on December 22nd, and today is the 15th. So that's about 3.5 weeks from submission to getting everything approved, and now we're just waiting on getting that permit issued because we just paid the fees, and after we pay those fees, and they can issue the permit. But granted, this exact same plan, less than a mile up the street, we're going on 3.5 months of permitting, and that's just something I really wanted to point out because, you know, depending on the city, county, or municipality that you're dealing with, this permitting process can be extremely unpredictable because sometimes when they're looking at your plans and everything you submitted, it may be subjective, or they may just take a while to get to it. And the best thing that you can do is be prepared that it may take longer than expected. And when you do go to submit, have everything lined up and make sure everything is what that city, county, or municipality is going to want to see on your plans before you submit, so that way you're not waiting months and months and months and everything's getting dragged out. But like I said, that's the best thing you could do. And even if you do all that, it can still be unpredictable. So that's just something I want to point out. This same exact plan up the street on a different log, we're going on 3.5 months of getting that permit. And then this one, like I said, less than a mile away from it, only took 3.5 weeks. So 3.5 months versus 3.5 weeks. Unpredictable. So anyway, we paid all the fees, so we should be seeing that permit either today or tomorrow, and then we can actually get started. So what's going to happen next is we're going to get this site ready for construction. That means we're going to get all of our pre-construction meetings out the way, we're going to get all of our tree save, all of our erosion control measures in place, as well as getting the site actually prepared and ready for that foundation. So that's what we're going to cover next, and I'll see you guys on site. All right, 2 weeks later, after getting that building permit, we are finally getting started. So these past couple weeks have been rough. You know, we've had snow, bunch of rain. That's January for you. But now, like I said, 2 weeks later, we are finally getting started, and the first thing that we are doing is putting in this sewer tap. So we spent the morning locating it, and we finally found it. So they're getting all this squared away right now. They are still working on uncovering it. It should be around 10 feet deep. They're trying to get down to the 6-inch. Now, typically we don't start with putting the tap in first, but we do not operate off of a fixed schedule. Really, it comes down to availability. You know, a lot of builders, they set up their schedule and it's going to be a fixed schedule, and they're not going to move on to the next phase or next thing until that task is complete. But we don't operate like that, and wherever we can get somebody in, we get them in, and that's how we move, and that's how we can move extremely efficiently, you know, going based on availability. If someone has time to get in here on this day before this, then we'll do it. So that is the reasoning behind that. Now, what they're also going to do, other than tying in to the sewer right now, when they're done, we're also going to have them come over here and pull out these stumps, because this stump right here is in our footprint. And we're also going to pull that one, and there's a couple more over there that we're also going to pull. So that'll be the next thing they do after they tie in there. And then after we get these stumps pulled, next week we'll be set up to start grading. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to scrape this entire lot, because there is this, I don't know what kind of variant of kudzu this is, but it's like these vines, and all this is going to have to go because nothing is going to grow under here. You know, even the entire back, it's all going to have to go. Can't do nothing with it. And then not only that, it's going to have to go regardless because we're going to have to scrape all of this where the house is actually going to go, because we can't have any vegetation up under the house. Not only that, those footings need to be sat on solid dirt, not topsoil. So we'll get into that next week, but this is what we got going on right now. Alrighty, so ended up hitting a snag. Prime example of unforeseen conditions. That right there is the gas line, and the lateral is right there. So they looked inside the lateral, and the lateral is full of roots. It's unfortunate, but if we can't get those roots out, or we can't salvage that lateral, then we're gonna have to put it in a brand new tap, and that'll be a quick, bare minimum 10K clean off, bottom line. Like I said, prime example of unforeseen conditions. But right now, we got them to pick those stumps in the back. So now they're just loading those up, and then they're gonna go over to a couple other sites to put in a couple more taps for us. And actually, before they do that, I'm gonna have them go over to another site that's right around the corner and pop a stump there while they have the machine out here. So that's that. But that is pretty much it. This marks day one of the Site 1 project. First thing we're doing is tying in that sewer. Then next week, we'll start grading and ripping up all this topsoil, getting this pad ready to start pouring those footings and getting that foundation set. All right, so yesterday we finally got this site scraped, graded, and ready to go. So we can finally now dig our footings, pour the footings, and start working on the crawl space. Now, we actually didn't end up having to bring any dirt over here, which it would be ideal if we could. But we ended up just bringing some dirt over to another site instead because it needed a lot more. But our original plan over here was to cut on the high side and push some dirt over to this low side and build it up a little bit. But things didn't go as planned. So when we started cutting into this high side, realized that there's just a ton of trash up under there from when they demoed the house. You know, when the city comes out and demos it, or someone else demos it, you know, sometimes, more times than not, people get lazy and they end up just burying all the trash where they demoed the house and leaving it to the next person. So instead of digging everything up and making a mess that doesn't need to be made, we just left it as is, and we're just going to work with what we got. Now, it'll be fine when we dig the footings, because the footings aren't in the footprint where that old house was, so there won't be any, there shouldn't be any trash up under there. But yeah, so as is, the way it is right now, if we leave it like this, dig our footings, and build that block wall up, that wall back there is probably some, 10, 12 feet, like I was saying in the previous video. But instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to drop down that foundation, that block foundation, where we'll just have 2 levels, and we'll build it up like that. And I'll show you guys what that looks like in the next video when we actually get started in building that foundation. I want to say this is 2 weeks after we put in that lateral. So this is taking a minute to get out of the ground, and coming out of the ground in any project is going to be the longest part. But this is taking so long because we're battling schedules, and we're battling the weather. Like right now it's raining, and luckily we were able to get in here yesterday and get this done before the rain comes, because it's going to be raining all day today. It's going to be raining all day tomorrow. And not only that, we're also bringing 3 other houses out of the ground right now. We got Monteal, Morehouse, and then Northwest Single Family. All those are getting ready to be finished up and poured here in the next week. And actually, Morehouse right now, we actually just poured the footings for a stem wall over there this morning. But yeah, like I said, weather, scheduling, and the fact that we have several other projects coming out of the ground at the same time. Now, luckily, we're finally ready to go. We can finally get started next week on digging our footings, pouring the footings, and then actually getting the crawl space built. And digging the footings and pouring the footings, that should be a 2-day exercise. And after those footings are poured, we can immediately get started on that block. So we should be getting into that next week. If you guys are looking to get into new construction development and work on projects like this, I put together a free guide. The link will be in the description. It breaks down what every investor must understand before they deploy capital into a new construction deal. It's extremely helpful, and it just breaks down the raw reality of this, what nobody will tell you. So highly advise you go check that out if this is something that you're interested in doing. And with that said, I will see you guys in the next video.